Hey there, my dog is sort of trying to make an appearance. You can't really see him. Hey, Hamilton. Hamilton. Hamilton, you want to say hi? Yeah, he's being shy. Anyway, we're talking about Bacon's Rebellion, not my dog. So, Bacon's Rebellion is happening about the same time as King Philip's War, but it's in Virginia. And what's happened is people are now surviving their terms in Virginia, 1676. So, if you come here as an indentured servant, you might survive that 4 to 7 years, get your freedom dues. Remember, by 1676, too, there's also enslaved peoples. And so what's happening is you've got a lot of discontented people in Virginia because those people who are surviving their terms, they feel like they're getting land that's not as valuable. Their land's further inland from the James River, so it's going to be more to it's going to require more effort to ship their goods. And because it's further inland, they're having to deal more with indigenous peoples. So what happens is a group of current indentured servants, ex-indentured servants, and enslaved peoples come together. They call themselves the Commons. You have a document in your signed primary readings that is the Declaration. And they rise up. They actually are pretty successful. They run the governor out of town. But within about three months, the rebellion's put down. In part, what happens is that smaller minority, that landholding minority that has the good land, they realize we don't want these people thinking of themselves as the commons. We don't want white people and black people finding a commonality amongst themselves, right? Current indentured servants, ex-indentured servants, and enslaved peoples, whites and blacks. Enslaved peoples would have basically developed a system of racial slavery. Enslaved peoples would be black, but those indentured servants could be white and black. And again, they're seeing themselves as the commons. And so that small landholding minority, they got to find a way to separate that majority. And the way that they separate them, as you've already started to see from the last lecture, is on the basis of laws. You create white privilege so that those landholding or poorer whites, they are disgruntled, but they have privilege in their whiteness. And in that way, they feel as though they're superior and no longer in common with other people of color. So this is the main significance for Bacon's Rebellion. While it's waged largely against Native peoples, like the King Philip's War, the consequences of it is certainly removal of Native peoples, but also after Bacon's Rebellion. It's the end of the day. This is like the third or fourth video I've made. But after Bacon's Rebellion, you can see, historians can look at like property records, and they can see that landowners are no longer purchasing indentured servants. They're now purchasing enslaved peoples. And so this is the big shift with Bacon's Rebellion, is that it's another link in the chain of racial slavery. The film that you watched, Africans in America, it mentioned Bacon's Rebellion, but it mentioned it really fast. It just talked about it as a civil war. And so this is why it's a turning point for us here, is that shift from servitude to slavery. All right, if you've got questions, again, you can put them in the discussion board. Thanks.